All right, Missouri option students who are doing the virtual option. I have a group of students in the room right now who are in school Missouri options. I'm going to do other videos kind of outlining the program and some other things you guys need to know at a later date, probably, hopefully tomorrow. But I want to start off by kind of talking about an essay. I have this group here, and I'm going to go over just how to pass the essay. Get where you guys can see me. Okay. So, all right, guys. So I've got a prompt on the board. When you guys go in to take this test, all right, and the way that I've coached this up is obviously, a good essay has at least 5 paragraphs, right? You've got your intro, you've got your body, you've got your conclusion. Your intro is going to give a brief explanation or a brief intro of what you're going to talk about in your body, okay? So try to think of a clear thesis. Where does your thesis typically end up in your paper?
In the first paragraph.
Usually it's the last sentence of your first paragraph, right? It's going to give a brief intro of what's happening in that body. So guys, when you go in to take the test, first of all, I can tell you this. If you're not a strong writer and it takes you a little bit longer, at least 3 paragraphs will get you a passing score. I can tell you that. Typically, if you're a good writer and you write pretty quickly, 5 paragraphs, right? 3 body paragraphs, your intro, conclusion. If you write a little bit slower, 3 paragraphs will suffice. All right? So, looking at this prompt, describe one of your most prized possessions. Make sure to isolate 3 or 4 different characteristics of the item and explain why it is important to you. So the biggest thing with the HiSET test is be clear in what you're saying. All right? Do we want one paragraph to have no capitalization and no period? No, that'll fail you. As far as spelling goes, they're not super. You with me? You with me, Watson? As far as spelling goes, guys, they're not super big sticklers on spelling, I don't believe, but I think they will ding you for misspelling things. So if you're not sure how to spell a certain word, you probably want to use a different word you know how to spell that means the same thing, right? Keep it simple. Guys, I had a teacher tell me in college when writing, keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, all right? Writing, talk. When I write, guys, I'm constantly talking out loud to make sure that makes sense in my head, right, when I'm saying it. So let's do this prompt here. Describe one of your most prized possessions. So immediately I'm going to think, okay, one of my most prized possessions, my bicycle. All right, my bicycle. All right, got that. My most prized possession. I can even take notes on the side, which I wouldn't waste your time doing that because they actually have you type this. So I would say, okay, immediately think about a prized possession. All right, my bicycle. And I'm going to use one. Actually, let's use one that is one of your guys's, and I'm going to show you how I can make that work. Guys, if you're not sure what to write about, a lot of times writing is just coming up with, not saying it has to be not what you believe, but if you're having a hard time, just make sure it makes sense to the person reading it, right? What's one of your most prized possessions?
Truck.
Your truck. All right. I need to think about 3 characteristics of that truck. All right, explain why it's important. Okay, so here's how I'm going to start it. First paragraph. One of my most prized possessions is my truck. Boom. You told them what your most prized possession is, right? Now, let's give a brief. We're going to do 3 paragraphs for this one. Let's just give a brief kind of introduction to why you like your truck. We don't have to go into detail because we're going to do that in the body, right? All right. One of my most prized possessions is my truck. And I'm gonna show you how I can just kind of freestyle here. Kind of freestyle the video, all right? One of my most prized possessions is my truck. I love my truck for several different reasons. Simple. One of my most prized possessions is my truck. Hear that pause? Period. I love my truck for several different reasons. Full thought, right? It's a full thought. Help me flow with this here. My truck allows me the freedom to go where I want, when I want, right? My truck allows me the freedom to go where I want, when I want. Right? Now let's flow. I also love my truck because it is a step side and I can easily get things in and out of the bed when I need. Right? I also love my truck because it is a step side and I am able to easily get things in and out of the bed. All right. Lastly, I'm recording. Lastly, I love my truck because it was given to me from my father. Now, if that's not accurate, that could be a total lie, right? Does the person reading this really know or care? They just want to make sure you're making sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to explain to you guys is it doesn't necessarily have to be the truth.
You can lie.
You can lie. Yes, for this essay. Because I have kids say, well, I got hung up and I didn't know what to say. I didn't like the prompt, or I didn't like what they were asking me to write about. Who cares? It's okay. Make something up. As long as it makes sense and it flows, you're going to pass the essay. You got me, guys? Capiche? You can write about anything. Doesn't necessarily have to be the truth, okay? Lastly, I love my truck because my dad gave it to me. Simple, right? Boom, first paragraph. Now, there necessarily wasn't a one thesis in there, but I kind of had two sentences that kind of introduced what I was talking about, right? All right, now let's go into our next paragraph, all right? Now, this is where we're going to elaborate more on what we just said here. You got me? Okay. First thing was, it says, always refer to your prompt. Make sure you're answering what they want. Describe one of your most prized possessions. Make sure to isolate 3 or 4 different characteristics of the item. Those are 3 characteristics, right? Why you like it? Explain why it's important to you. Now, let's get into explaining why in more detail. How can I start this out? The first one was freedom. Having the freedom to go where I want is great because it allows me to have my own schedule. Boom. Having the freedom to go where I want is great because it allows me to keep my own schedule. Got me, guys? Simple. Having the freedom to go where I want is great because it allows me to have my own schedule. If I need to leave my school program to go to work, I don't have to wait on a ride. Flowing. We're flowing, right? If I need to leave my school, you guys see how I kind of sounded out before I write it? Do that while you write. Make sure it sounds right in your head, and then put it on paper. Allows me to leave for work without having to wait for a ride. Okay, let's get on to the next one, right? We only have so much time on this, which they do give you plenty of time, I'll say that. I also love my truck because it is step side. Having a step side truck is great because it is stylish, and I oftentimes have to work with my uncle, and we have to move bags of mulch in and out, which having the step side, that was kind of a run. Okay, now I gotta see, riding is oftentimes just putting a puzzle together. What sounds good? The step side is great because it makes for a good work truck. I didn't want to say great again, it kind of gets repetitive. Good work truck. Got me, guys? When I work with my uncle, I can get in and out of the bed to move bags of mulch. Full thought, right? Do you necessarily work with your uncle? No. Do they know that? No. Does it make sense? Yes, right? When I work with my uncle and we move mulch, we move bags of mulch, comma, you hear that pause? The step side is great because it makes for a good work truck. When I work with my uncle and we move bags of mulch, hear that comma? It's not a full thought, so we don't need a period, right? Did I complete my thought there? No. So I need what? Hear the pause? Hey, got me? Comma. Simple. We move bags of mulch. Also my train of thought. This, when I work with my uncle and we move bags of mulch, comma, the step side makes this easy. Your truck says a step side too, isn't it? All right. Good. Last thought. Finishing our body here. What's our last one? My dad gave it to me. Finally, let's reintroduce this here. Finally, my truck is my most prized possession because my dad gave it to me. He is a very special person to me. Makes sense, right? Finally, I don't want to say finally.
All in all.
Lastly, all in all.
Very useful.
I did use lastly. It's repetitive. You're smart. All in all. All in all is fine, yeah. All in all, comma, right? All in all, with a pause. My truck is one of my most prized possessions because it was my dad's and he is very special to me, right? Boom. Okay. I'd say, let's add one more sentence to kind of round that out. All in all, my truck is one of my most prized possessions. All right, you're good. Because it was my dad's, and he is very special to me. he actually owned the truck for 15 years before it was given to me. Right? Makes sense, right? Full thought? He actually owned the truck for 15 years before he gave it to me.
I just see what you're. Is this
Yeah.
an essay?
We're just kind of starting about essays. Keeping it simple, full thoughts, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. All right, guys. Now, conclusion, right? We sum it up. Brief recap. This would be a passing essay. You got to have at least 3 paragraphs. I know this because I've coached it and people pass. If you want to do 5 and you're a good writer, you know, you're comfortable with that, do 5. But if you think you're limited on time, 3. 3 will be okay. All right, so restate some of this up here, right, guys? The conclusion. My most prized possession. Is my truck. I always read back to my paper. My truck gives me freedom. My truck gives me the freedom to go where I want. My truck gives me the freedom to go where I want. It is functional, or has a step side, right? It has a step side, comma. Now I'm going to talk about commas. My truck gives me the freedom to go where I want, comma. Has a step side, comma. And was given to me by my father or dad. All right. Let's sum it up. One more sentence. All right. My most prized possession is my truck. My truck gives me the freedom to go where I want, has a step side, and was given to me by my dad. I love this truck. Help me out, guys. I love this truck for these reasons, and I plan on keeping it until it no longer runs or rusts out. Right? I love this truck for for multiple reasons. Sure, thank you. Multiple reasons, and plan on driving it until it doesn't run or rust out. Period. There we go, guys. All right. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Easy money. All right. And we're going to work on these individually. I'll give you writing prompts, and we'll go along, and we'll work on this together. We'll hammer this home. All right, guys. So this was just a quick example of a writing prompt. I am going to have another video just talking about the Canvas course and kind of, those resources for prepping for the test along with the practice test, and just kind of give you a rundown. If you guys have questions, email me. And if you guys have writing prompts that you do on your own at home, you can type those up and you can email me those as well. And I can go through and edit those and give you tips. So catch you guys next time.